Abnormal Investigations. Hope y'all are doing well. Got a few things I was going to tell you all before we jump into this encounter. This Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time, Sarah and I will be doing another live. Now the difference on this live is going to be we're going to be in the field when we do this live. We're going to do a questions and answers. We're going to do a live. It's going to be a little bit different. We're going to mingle and talk with all of you guys. It's not going to be really anything we're going to have like specific things we're going to talk about. We want to spend time with you guys, to interact with you guys, and to ask any questions that you might have had over any previous videos or lives we've done or anything like that. And just hang out with you guys and have a good time, and who knows, something may happen while we're out there doing this, because we are going to be out under the stars. So I think that's going to be a really cool live. I hope to see a lot of you there. And I'd like to hear your comments on, what do you think about doing more of these? Is this something you would like to see more of? Or do you like it when we're behind the desk? Let us know in the comments. Alright guys, I've got a pretty awesome encounter coming up. We would like to ask that you smash the like button. It has a whole lot to do with the algorithm, and it also lets us know you like our content so we can keep producing content. Here is the encounter for today that was sent in. I think you're going to really, I don't know if you're going to enjoy it. I don't think I enjoyed it. I'm bad about saying it sometimes when I really don't mean it in that way, but I think this one is sad, and it also is kind of an eye-opener to what could happen. So let's jump into it. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a sweltering summer night in the 1950s, and we had left our window open to let in the cool breeze. My little brother Timmy was fast asleep in his bed, but when we woke up the next morning, he was gone. His bed was empty, with only a sunflower left in its place, and on the windowsill a massive handprint was visible, its fingers spread wide, as if something had grasped the sill to pull itself up. In the days and weeks that followed, strange reports began to surface. Neighbors and friends would whisper of seeing a towering figure lurking in their yards at night, its presence made known by the creaking of the trees and the rustling of the leaves. Some even claimed to have seen it peering through their windows, saying that it had eyes that were so much human-like. But that wasn't the only terror that gripped our town. Horses, dogs, and cats were all being killed, their bodies found in weird and gruesome places. A farmer's prize stallion was found decapitated in his field. A dog was discovered with its legs torn off in an alleyway, and a cat was found hanging from a tree branch with its eyes gouged out. And then the unthinkable happened. Timmy's body was found, my little brother, stuffed in a tree trunk on a small creek next to town. He was all twisted up and broken, his little body contorted in ways that seemed impossible. The police were telling my mom and dad in the front room that it was like nothing they had ever seen. Nothing they had ever seen before. As the town mourned Timmy's death, a strange old man appeared at the funeral. He was tall and gaunt, with eyes that seemed to see right through us. He introduced himself as a scholar of the supernatural and revealed that the creature that took Timmy was an ancient being from another realm. He said it was a harvester of souls. The old man explained, it comes to our world to collect the purest of souls, those untainted by evil or malice. Timmy's innocence and kindness made him a prime target. But I didn't believe a word of it. I thought the old man was full of shit, honest. Just another crackpot with a wild story. I didn't believe in monsters or supernatural creatures. I thought Timmy's death was just a tragic accident or a senseless act of violence by some perpetrator. But as I looked around at the mourners, I saw the fear in their eyes. They believed the old man's story, and they were terrified. And as I looked at Timmy's small coffin, I felt a chill that I would never see my little brother again. I wept harder, Mike, than I've ever wept. Maybe, just maybe, there was more to this world than I thought. Maybe the old man was right, and Timmy's soul had been harvested by something ancient and evil. Months went by, and the town tried to heal, but the memory of Timmy's death lingered, and people began to report strange occurrences at night. They heard weird howls like nothing they'd ever heard before. It was a low, mournful sound, almost, Mike, like something was mourning the loss of Timmy's soul. My dad told me about it, his voice barely above a whisper. He said, "People are hearing strange howls at night," he said. It was like something is still after something that took Timmy. And that's all I could think of, is the monster that took my little brother was still running around free, and it bothered me but scared me at the same time. But then I tried not to. I didn't believe it, of course. I thought it was just people's imagination, their grief and the fear of manifestation in strange ways. But the howls continued night after night, a haunting reminder that something was still out there, watching and waiting. I wondered, would it come for me? Was I next on the list? I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of being hunted. I looked over my shoulder, expecting to see the creature lurking in the shadows. But there was never anything there. I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination, that I was safe. But the memory of Timmy's fate lingered, and a constant reminder of the creature was real, and it was deadly, if it was man or foe. I began to avoid going out at night, fearing that I would hear the howls again, fearing that the creature would come for me. I locked my doors and windows, hoping to keep it out. But the fear lingered, always there, always lurking in the back of my mind. And then one night I heard the howls again. They were closer this time, and they were a lot louder. I knew it was coming for me. I could just feel it inside. I knew I had to get out of there, to run as far and as fast as I could, but my legs were frozen in fear, unable to move, and, well, that wouldn't have made much sense. To leave the safety of my house to run in the dark, that would have been stupid. But I guess when we're afraid sometimes, we don't think clearly. The howling grew louder, and I knew the creature was right outside my door. I was trapped, unable to escape, and then the door burst open, and the creature, there it stood, right in the door. The largest, nastiest, stinking, its hair all just twisted up and matted up with coca burrs. It was just the most horrifying werewolf you'd ever seen. I finally was able to yell for my dad, and the creature paused. Its eyes were fixed on me, but I noticed something on the werewolf, something that I would never forget. It was wearing a bracelet, a man's golden bracelet. I don't know why I noticed it, maybe because it was shiny against the dark black fur. For a moment we stared at each other, frozen in time, and then it turned and it ran off into the night, disappearing into the darkness. I collapsed onto my bed, my heart racing, my breath was in short gasps. I couldn't believe what had just happened. The creature had come for me, and I had yelled for my dad. It had paused, as if considering whether to attack or retreat, and then, thank God, it ran off. I lay there trying to process what had happened. I knew I had to tell my dad, to warn him about the creature, but I was also scared of what might happen if I told him. What if he didn't believe me? What if it brought back bad memories of Timmy for him? What if he thought I was just imagining things? Dad thought I just had maybe nightmares. But I knew I had to try. I took a deep breath, got out of bed, making my way to my dad's room, knocked on the door, my heart pounding in my chest. And when he answered, I told him everything, from the howls to the creature in my room. To my surprise, he believed me. He listened attentively, his expression serious, and when I finished, he put a hand on my shoulder. "We'll get through this together," he said. "We'll figure out what's going on, and we'll stop it." I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I wasn't alone. My dad was with me, and together we could face whatever was happening in our town. My dad's expression turned sad, and he sighed heavily. "I was afraid of this," he said. "I was afraid it would come for you, too." "What do you mean?" I asked, feeling a chill in the air. "It took Timmy," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "And it could have taken you, too. But we're not going to let that happen." He paused, collecting his thoughts. "We're going to move away from here," he said, finally. "We're going to start afresh in a new place where it can't find us." I was stunned. Move away? Leave our home, our friends, our whole life behind? But my dad's expression was resolute. And I knew he had made up his mind. And my dad was very hard-headed. And so we packed up our belongings and said goodbye to our old life. We moved to Kansas, to a small town in the middle of nowhere. It was a fresh start, a new beginning, and it was a beautiful place, and I was grateful to be alive, to be safe from the creature that haunted our town. But even as we settled into our new life, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that the creature was still out there waiting for its chance to strike. And I knew that I would never forget the terror of that night, the night the creature had came for me, that had took my brother. My mind has been racing, my thoughts of revenge and justice for my little brother. I knew it was a dangerous path to consider, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to do something to make things right. I may go back someday. I finally said it to my dad, looking him straight in the eye. I may go back and revenge for my Timmy. My dad's expression turned grave, and he placed a hand on my shoulder. "I understand how you feel," he said, "but please don't do anything rash. We don't know what we're up against, and I don't want to lose you too." I nodded, knowing he was right. But the fire of revenge still burned in my heart, Mike, and I knew it wouldn't be easy to extinguish. I mean, hell, I'd lost my brother to this evil bastard. I would have to find a balance, my desire for justice with the need to keep myself safe. As we sat there in silence, I knew that this was far from over. The creature was still out there, and I would have to confront it eventually, for my own mind's sake. But for now, I just needed to focus on healing and moving forward one step at a time. Please do not leave your kids alone, even in your home, if the doors and windows are not secure. I hope you never go through what we've been through. Please use this video for awareness, and Timmy didn't die for nothing if this video helps save only one person. Thank you for sharing my encounter. You're very welcome. Yeah, I mean, back in those days, I remember those days of going to sleep with our windows open, and sometimes our windows didn't even have screens on them. We just never thought about it. And this would have been in the 70s and 80s, and probably even a little bit into the 90s. So I understand what you're talking about. I think that your brother was an easy target, and the creature seen opportunity, and it acted, because I do believe they are opportunists. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this little story. I don't mean by enjoy it as far as enjoy it as in like make you happy, but I hope that you take away some knowledge from these videos and you apply those, to be safe and to maybe do things differently than what you're doing that could, prevent you from being hurt, and not just from a cryptid, but from somebody, because we need to be cautious wherever we're at of our surroundings and whatever's out there, because we know it's not just the cryptids in the woods that are dangerous, that there is also crazy people out there also. So be careful and always be aware, and always have a plan B. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you all are well, and I hope to see you all Wednesday night. Take care, keep your head on a swivel, and don't be something's dinner.